The end of October game releases were really full of surprises. I already made a video on Riders Republic, but the other thing I've been working my way through is Guardians of the Galaxy, the Square Enix joint. So just so you know, no spoilers. I'm not going to spoil anything here, specifically because the story is the best part of the game. I was blown away by just how fun this game was to play through, despite it being just a video game with some typical video game problems I'll get into. But the way I was going into this was, I don't usually harshly react to too many game reveals. I'm very much like, okay, let's wait and see. I don't like to dunk on things until it's warranted or until I get my hands on it. But I saw the reveal for Guardians of the Galaxy and I was just like, ooh, I don't know what it was that didn't do it for me. Despite on paper, it sounding like exactly what I'm into and a lot of you guys are into, just regular old single player adventure games that you play through and crazy stuff happens and it looks gorgeous and it's fun to shoot stuff and that's it. I didn't do the before you buy at GameRanks for this. The other guys worked on it, so they were working on it and telling me how it was. I saw some reviews come out and I was like, oh, damn. I have to cram this into. I have to find time to play this. And I'm so glad I did because it's really special. On the surface, it might just look like another Guardians thing. Like you may have played the Telltale one and kind of bounced off of it. I thought the first 2 episodes were kind of cool, but then, I don't know. This does the whole Guardians thing really well because Guardians of the Galaxy, the way it's set up is pretty, you can do whatever you want with it. And then from there, the James Gunn established Guardians of the Galaxy is very moldable and you could do different things with it. And that's what's really impressive here is that it doesn't feel like a carbon copy, cut and paste of, the Drax that is Batista, the Chris Pratt who now plays everybody, including Garfield. What is with that? Like those characters here on the surface to a casual fan, like you might look at this and go, oh, is it just like the movie, the game? But the more you scratch the surface, it's where the game gets more interesting and it's where these characters really become their own new versions, new interpretations of characters. And I always try and hammer that home with people who say, oh, this is accurate. This is comic accurate. There are so many interpretations of so many characters and that's where the fun is. For people who read comic books and for people who jump into this new stuff, the fun is these different interpretations and these twists and turns they can take with the foundations of these characters. And I think it's done really well here. You have a Star-Lord who has a little bit of a different spin on his origin that I won't spoil, who's grappling with the whole leadership thing. You have a Drax that is really kind of like struggling with the group dynamic in really interesting ways while also still just being kind of blunt and hilarious. You have a Gamora that is kind of like the weird nerdy girl on the side, which is very interesting. You have a Rocket, of course, that just has more baggage than ever. You have Groot, of course, Yo Soy Groot, but it's all the other characters that they throw in that I really loved, and just some of the relationships they set up and some of the little twists are really cool. There's also these flashback sequences that flesh out the story at multiple points throughout that go back to Peter Quill's being on Earth as a kid, and they are incredible. There's not a lot of times where I'm in those types of scenes anymore and I really walk around and click on every single little thing and look at it, but this game gives you a lot of them. And I clicked on every single one. It really actually sets a good scene and puts you in this kind of like 80s atmosphere vibe. And that carries over to the whole game because the soundtrack is also really damn good. I looked at the set list for the soundtrack and I was like, wow, first of all, there's a lot of licensed tracks on here. That is clearly the Marvel money. Flexion, just but also, you have the Guardians thing is now like with the music and the playlists, right? An awesome mix. But I look at this track list, and this is more like if I were to pick the music, that would have been it. And how some of the characters react to the music that you put on in the ship, I love. And really all the ship stuff, there's so much talking and listening to characters and getting to know their feelings and trying to figure things out and trying not to piss them off. It really is a lot. They do so much character work here, and that's where the game shines. The character work is great, and that's my favorite part of the game, but also there's cool skins, and there's skins from all these different arcs, all these different lines. You have Age of Apocalypse skins. You have a lot here, and they're all really fun to just kind of find out in the environment, but it's cool to just get more of the classic Guardians look. I very much appreciate that. Also, just adjacent to the skins as an aside, this is another Marvel game that has like a sick Adidas license, and multiple characters just rock sick Adidas shoes. I'm not talking about like Adidas in space, but like in certain points on Earth, just really good shoe game. Just want to point that out. Like the shoes that young Peter Quill has are like the shoes I still wear, and that's cool. I like that. But the skins and the costumes and all that, what I also really like, and it's a small thing, but you highlight the skins and they tell you what comic it came from and who created it, which is so cool. There's always so much talk lately about how comic artists aren't really getting credited or really compensated for their arcs having moments in these big, huge movies. So at least for this game to tell you who the skin is created by, essentially, or who the concept of that character design is by, is really cool. It's not the first game to do it. I love when games do this, and for this one in particular, it was really cool. And it's just little things like that. It makes me hope that more people will get in the comics. I love all this stuff, despite the fact that the game is just, like from a gameplay perspective, it's just pretty cool. It's fun. It has a lot of puzzle solving and just walking around little corridor environments and finding stuff, and a lot of crate pushing. But you're not really pushing the crate. You're like telling Drax to go push the crate, which is kind of funny. But there's a lot of just that simple ass gameplay. The shooting and the combat is pretty fun, especially as you get some upgrades. And once you kind of get into the flow of using the characters, you can still kind of just mash the characters a lot of times. Just let them all do their attacks depending on the enemy type. But at the very least, there's a lot of really cool sequences, like big crazy set piece sequences that you'd like expect from like a big AAA video game. Like it has all those big entertaining moments too, but the moment to moment gameplay, again, what makes it like elevated a little bit. Same thing with like the original The Last of Us. Like, do you remember how many times you'd push the crate in the water to get Ellie to go on the crate? It's just like, or carry the ladder. It's just like so video game. But what makes it okay is that all of that time you're being occupied by the characters talking and all this interesting stuff. And in Guardians, it's just mile a minute jokes and quips. A lot of them land. A lot of people were skeptical of the voice acting here. I think it's pretty good, and I think the writing is pretty good. And even if all the jokes don't land, there's still a really good sense of like getting to know these characters, and it makes me happy. The game's also a little glitchy. I had a couple crashes. I got stuck in a wall twice, but otherwise, it's pretty gorgeous. This team really did a good job designing alien worlds and also fleshing out the Nova Core. So as someone who likes Nova from the comics, like the Nova Corps here and like what they do is really cool, especially from like an art direction standpoint. But I was so excited, I couldn't hold this in. I just wanted to like put it out there. Like, I think this game is a lovely surprise. I think a lot of people still lament like there's no big AAA crazy over the top single player action games because they don't make money anymore. Well, here's a good one. So definitely put it on your radar. I wanted to I hope people realize how good this game actually is. Again, it's got like heart, it's got charm, it'll make you smile, it'll make you like emotional. It's just a good ass video game story, and that's not always an easy feat. Especially when it's something like this, where it's a massive budget and a bunch of people are making it. Like, it wasn't lost in translation here. It's a good Guardians of the Galaxy story, and I'm happy. Put it on your Christmas list. Ask Santa for it, man. So that's it. I've talked about this enough, so let me know what you think if you've jumped in. It came out last week, so there's been some time. Maybe you jumped in day one. Maybe you were excited. Maybe you're holding off. Let me know what you think. Let me know who your favorite character is if you are playing it. I definitely want to hear that, because it's pretty hard. It's a tie. So if you enjoy this, though, and you just like listening to me talk about stuff I love, I'm just rambling on here, clicking the like button's all you got to do. Legit helps me. Thank you. Subscribing and notifications are also good, because YouTube sucks, and I only put out a video like once or twice a week, so I'm not going to spam you. But thank you for watching. I'm Jake Baldino. See you guys next time. Pizza's on me. Subscribe because video games.